The bottle rolled across the floor, still half full, but Cole Harrington didn't reach for it. His weathered hands gripped the Winchester Model 1894 instead, the walnut stock smooth against his calloused palm, the metal cold and certain. Outside, hoofbeats approached through the Montana dusk. 3 riders, moving with purpose. Cole's eyes narrowed, crow's feet deepening in the fading light. The brass shell clinked as he chambered around. At 45, his hands didn't shake like they used to after Kuwait. 15 years since he'd watched his brothers die in that desert. 15 years of nightmares and whiskey. Harrington, the voice outside carried on the wind. Vincent Blackwood, the banker, the land grabber, the man who thought money could buy anything, including people. Cole stepped onto his porch, rifle held low but ready, Montana sunset painting the sky blood red behind him. Blackwood sat atop his black stallion, flanked by 2 hired guns with hungry eyes and twitchy fingers. "This is private property, Blackwood." The banker smiled, all teeth and no warmth. "Just like half the valley, soon to be mine." Cole recognized that smile, had seen it before, in another life in Kuwait. Lieutenant Blackwood, who'd ordered Cole's unit into an ambush, who'd sacrificed men for a promotion. The officer whose negligence had cost James Wilson his leg and 8 other men their lives. The first gunman made his move. Hand darting to his holster, Cole had seen faster men in the desert. The Winchester cracked once, then twice. Both men fell. Blackwood's horse reared as he struggled to control it, eyes wide with shock. "Next time," Cole said, rifle steady, "I won't aim for your men." Blackwood spurred his horse, dust kicking up as he fled. Cole watched until he disappeared, knowing this wasn't over. It had only begun. The knock came near midnight. More a thud, really. Like something, or someone, collapsing against the door. Cole slid the Colt 1911 from beneath his pillow, the grip worn to the shape of his hand. 7 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. More than enough. The girl on his doorstep was barely standing. Rain-soaked nightgown torn and stained with mud and blood. Blonde hair plastered to a face that seemed too young to carry so much fear. But it was her eyes that hit Cole hardest, vacant yet watchful, like a wounded animal that had run too far. "Please," she whispered, voice stronger than her body looked capable of producing. Lightning flashed, illuminating the purple fingerprints on her neck, and something else, a gold wedding band, Blackwood's mark. Cole recognized it from town meetings. "Come in." He stepped aside, holstering the Colt in his waistband. "I won't hurt you." She stepped inside, leaving wet footprints on the wooden floor. When she turned, Cole saw the blood matting her hair at the temple. Something in him, something he thought had died in Kuwait, stirred to life. "I'm Sarah," she said, swaying slightly. "Sarah Wilson." The name hit Cole like shrapnel. Wilson. Sergeant James Wilson had pushed Cole into a bunker seconds before the mortar hit, had taken the blast meant for him, had lost his leg but saved Cole's life. His last words before the medevac. "Take care of them if I don't make it." Them. His family. The family Cole had never found after the war. James Wilson's daughter? Cole's voice sounded strange to his own ears. She nodded, confusion crossing her face before her knees buckled. Cole caught her before she hit the floor. Dawn painted the kitchen in gold as Cole cleaned the gash on Sarah's temple with steady hands. He poured whiskey over a cloth, the amber liquid turning pink with her blood. She flinched but didn't cry out. "Your father saved my life in Kuwait," Cole said, his voice low. "Desert Storm, 1991. Sarah's eyes found his. "He came back different." "We all did." Cole applied a bandage with practiced precision, the field medicine training never quite leaving him. "Lost his leg, didn't he?" "And his soul, piece by piece." She stared at her hands. The VA benefits weren't enough. The pain never stopped. The pills, then the gambling. Cole nodded, understanding too well the path from soldier to broken man. He started small, poker games, horse races. Her fingers twisted the wedding ring. Then bigger debts to worse people. He owed Blackwood nearly $500,000. And Blackwood took you as payment. She looked away, shame and anger battling in her expression. On our wedding night, She couldn't finish. The whiskey bottle looked tempting then. Cole pushed it aside. He'll come for me, she said, a statement of fact, not fear. Cole checked the Colt's magazine before sliding it back into place with a decisive click. Let him try. While Sarah slept, Cole searched her belongings, the small bag she'd managed to grab during her escape. Among her clothes, he found documents, blueprints, land surveys, numbers that made his blood run cold. A dam. Blackwood planned to flood the valley, every ranch, every homestead, underwater. And according to these papers, the man had the backing of state officials whose pockets he'd lined. Cole's land, the Wilson Ranch, all of it sacrificed for Blackwood's water rights and hydroelectric dreams. Now Cole understood Blackwood's obsession. This wasn't just business, it was personal. The lieutenant who'd sacrificed soldiers for advancement had become the businessman who'd sacrificed an entire community for profit. And somehow James Wilson was involved. The knock at the door was firm this time, professional. Cole recognized it instantly. Law enforcement. He slid the papers under a floorboard before answering. Sheriff Thompson stood on the porch, hat in hand. The badge on his chest caught the morning light, the scar running down his left cheek, a souvenir from a night ambush outside Basra, pulled tight as he frowned. Cole. Sheriff. Cole nodded, noting the tension in Thompson's stance. Another veteran. Another survivor of Blackwood's command. Thompson's eyes scanned the room behind him. Blackwood says his wife ran away. Says she might have come this way. His wife? Cole kept his face neutral. Haven't seen anyone. Thompson's eyes narrowed. 2 of Blackwood's men were shot last night. Know anything about that? Trespassing can be dangerous in these parts. The sheriff sighed, replacing his hat. Blackwood owns the bank, Cole. Owns the mayor. Half the county board. This dam project is his golden ticket. Federal contracts worth millions. Soon he'll own this land, one way or another. Not while I'm standing on it. Thompson stepped closer, voice dropping. He's got James Wilson. Found him trying to skip town after selling his daughter. Keeping him at the old coal mine. Using him as leverage against anyone who might help Sarah. Cole's hand tightened on the doorframe. James is alive? For now. Thompson glanced over his shoulder. Blackwood's been promising him a partnership in the dam project, telling him they'll both be rich once the valley's flooded. But it's a lie. James's name isn't on any of the legal paperwork. Why would James believe him? Fear, addiction, desperation. Thompson shook his head. You know how it is. Some men break and never get put back together right. Cole knew. He saw it in the mirror every morning. I didn't tell you that, Thompson added, and I didn't see anyone here. He turned to leave, then paused. That 30-06 still shooting true? Like the day you showed me how to sight it. Good, you might need it. Thompson walked back to his cruiser. They'll come at sundown, always do. Cole found Sarah on the back porch, watching the mountains. He placed the Remington 870 shotgun in her hands, showing her how to brace it against her shoulder. Like this, he demonstrated, tight against you, angle down slightly. It'll kick, but you can handle it. I've never fired a gun, she admitted, hands trembling slightly. Neither had I before your father showed me. Pull, don't squeeze. Breathe out as you fire. She practiced, the empty clicks of the firing pin punctuating the afternoon quiet. Why are you helping me? She finally asked. Cole paused, eyes on the horizon. I owe your father a debt. And I know what it's like to lose everything. Your family? She asked softly. Cole nodded, the memories washing over him. The fire, the phone call from halfway around the world. Too late to say goodbye. Too late for anything but regret. I wasn't there when they needed me. I can be here now. He took the shotgun back, checking the action. Your father and I served under Blackwood. He sent us into an ambush. Your father lost his leg pushing me to safety. Sarah's eyes widened. Blackwood was your commanding officer? Lieutenant Vincent Blackwood used his family connections to avoid charges of negligence. Used those same connections to build his empire here. Cole's jaw tightened. This damn project isn't just business for him. It's power, control, the same things he craved in Kuwait. My father never told me. Some things are too painful to share, even with family. Cole handed the shotgun back to her. Especially with family. Doc Miller's clinic sat at the edge of town, far enough from Blackwood's bank to maintain some independence. The old Army medic's hands shook with age now, but his mind remained sharp. Sarah Wilson, he whispered, eyes widening at the sight of her. My God. We need information, Doc, Cole said, scanning the street through the window. About James Wilson. The doctor's face fell. They brought him in last week. Broken ribs, fractured jaw. Said he fell down a mine shaft. And you believe that? Cole's voice hardened. I treat the wounded, Cole. Don't matter how they got that way. Doc opened a cabinet, removing a bottle of pills. He'll need these for the pain. Blackwood's keeping him at the abandoned Ferguson mine, using him to control the other ranchers who might stand against the damn project. What do you mean control? Sarah asked. Blackwood's been offering partnerships in the dam project to ranchers who sell willingly. Your father's been his spokesman, telling folks how rich they'll all be once the hydroelectric contracts come through. Sarah's hand went to her stomach, an unconscious gesture Cole didn't miss. Doc noticed too. How far along? 6 weeks, she whispered, eyes down. Blackwood's? Doc asked, voice gentle. She nodded once, jaw tight. Cole's hand found her shoulder. Doesn't matter. It's yours now. The sudden crack of a rifle shot shattered the window. Cole pulled Sarah to the floor as glass rained down. 2 more shots followed, wood splintering where they had stood seconds before. Back door, Doc hissed, crawling toward his office. My truck's out back. Keys in the ignition. Cole drew the Colt, firing twice through the broken window to provide cover. Go, Sarah, now! She hesitated, then scrambled after Doc. Cole counted to 3, then emptied the magazine toward the shooter's position. The return fire stopped just long enough for him to follow. The forest provided cover as they abandoned the truck, too easy to track on the main roads. Cole moved through the trees with the silent precision of a man who'd hunted men before. Sarah followed, learning quickly to step where he stepped, to move when he moved. Your father taught me this, Cole said, kneeling to examine tracks in the soft earth. How to read the land, how to become part of it. He never taught me anything but shame, Sarah replied, bitterness edging her voice. Cole looked up. Men like your father, like me, we come back broken. Some heal, some don't. Is that why you live alone? Because you're broken? Cole stood, eyes scanning the ridge above them. I live alone because the alternative costs too much. Your family, she said. The fire. Was it an accident? The question cut deeper than any bullet. I left a space heater running. By the time they called me in Kuwait, there was nothing left. He moved ahead, the conversation over. We need to keep moving. A branch snapped in the distance. Cole signaled for silence, drawing them deeper into the shadows. Voices carried on the wind. Blackwood's men fanning out through the trees. There's a cabin, Cole whispered, 1/2 mile north. We can make it before dark. As they moved through the gathering dusk, Sarah whispered, What if they find us? Cole checked the Winchester. Then they'll wish they hadn't. The old hunting cabin smelled of dust and abandonment. Cole secured the perimeter while Sarah gathered firewood. Her movements were steadier now, more purposeful. Less prey, more survivor. I have to tell you something, she said as night fell. About my father. Cole looked up from cleaning the Remington. He didn't just owe Blackwood money. He partnered with him on the damn project. Her voice cracked. He sold our ranch first. Then he sold me. Why would he do that? Blackwood has something on him. Something from Kuwait. Sarah stared into the small fire. I overheard them once. Blackwood said if my father didn't cooperate, he'd make sure everyone knew what really happened during the ambush. Cole's hands stilled on the shotgun. What does that mean? I don't know, but whatever it is, it terrified my father enough to sacrifice everything, even me. The silence stretched between them. He might have been a hero in Kuwait, she continued, but he came home a monster. Cole set the shotgun aside. War changes men, Sarah, shows them what they really are beneath the surface. And what are you beneath the surface, Cole Harrington? His eyes met hers across the small fire. I'm still figuring that out. The distant crack of a twig brought them both to attention. Cole doused the fire with a swift kick, plunging the cabin into darkness. He pressed the Remington into Sarah's hands, positioning her in the corner with the best cover. Remember what I taught you, he whispered, and don't shoot until you see a target. Cole moved to the window, the Colt ready. Moonlight illuminated three figures approaching through the trees. He recognized Thompson's silhouette, hands raised in surrender. Behind him, two armed men, Blackwood's. Cole, Thompson called. Don't shoot. I've got information. Cole kept the gun trained on the window. Step into the clearing. Alone. They'll kill me if I do. They'll die if they follow. Thompson hesitated, then stepped forward. One of the men raised his rifle. Cole's shot dropped him before he could fire. The second man fled into the darkness. Thompson staggered to the door, clutching his side. Blood seeped between his fingers. Bastards shot me when we left town, he gasped as Cole pulled him inside. Said they'd kill my wife if I didn't lead them to you. Sarah pressed a cloth to the sheriff's wound. Why risk it? Thompson's eyes found Cole's. Some debts can't be left unpaid. Cole nodded, understanding the unspoken words between men who'd seen the same hell. Blackwood knows you have the damn documents, Thompson continued, grimacing as Sarah applied pressure. He's moving everyone to the mine tomorrow. Your father included, Sarah. After that, there won't be anyone left to stand against him. Cole checked his ammunition, mind already mapping the terrain between them and the mine. Then we moved tonight. The Ferguson mine entrance loomed black against the mountainside, a single guard posted outside. Cole approached from behind, silent as a mountain lion, the knife from his boot finding the guard's throat before he could call out. Inside, the tunnel stretched deep into darkness, support beams creating pools of shadow. Three more guards played cards around a lantern. Cole took them with 3 shots from the silenced Colt, the weapon a parting gift from a CIA operative in Kuwait. Clear, he whispered to Sarah, who followed with Thompson leaning heavily on her shoulder. The holding cells had once stored explosives. Now they held men, ranchers mostly, landowners who had refused Blackwood's offers. And in the furthest cell, a broken figure Cole recognized despite the years and injuries. James Wilson looked up, recognition dawning in his one good eye. The other was swollen shut, his face a map of recent violence. Harrington? His voice was a rasp. They got you too? No, Cole answered, breaking the lock with the butt of his pistol. I came to get you out. Sarah? James caught sight of his daughter. My God, you're alive. No thanks to you, she said, voice ice cold. James stumbled to his feet, the prosthetic leg Cole remembered clanking against the stone floor. You don't understand. I had to. Blackwood would have killed us both. So you sold me instead? Tears streaked her face, but her voice remained steady. I made a deal, James pleaded. Part ownership in the dam project. We'd be rich, Sarah. Set for life. Cole's grip tightened on his weapon. You traded your daughter for water rights? It was the only way. James reached for Sarah, who stepped back. Blackwood knows what happened in Kuwait. The real story. What real story? Cole demanded. James's eyes darted to the tunnel entrance. We were never ambushed, Cole. Blackwood ordered us to fire on civilians. When I refused, he shot me himself, made it look like enemy fire. The revelation hit Cole like a physical blow. Why didn't you report it? Who would believe a sergeant over a lieutenant from a wealthy family? James's face twisted with old rage. But I kept evidence. Photos. And Blackwood's been paying me to keep quiet ever since. Until he found a better way to control you, Cole said, understanding dawning. The damn project. We can still fix this, James insisted. Blackwood will forgive everything if you come back, Sarah. If the documents disappear. The sound of approaching vehicles echoed through the mine. Headlights swept the entrance. They're here, Thompson warned, checking his own weapon. James lunged suddenly, grabbing for Thompson's gun. Don't take her. She belongs to Blackwood. The struggle was brief. The gun discharged, the sound deafening in the confined space. James fell back, red blooming across his chest. Sarah's scream echoed off the stone walls. She dropped to her knees beside her father, rage and grief warring on her face. Why? She demanded. Why would you do this? James coughed, blood flecking his lips. Because I'm a coward, he whispered. His hand fumbled in his pocket, withdrawing a flash drive. The truth about Blackwood, the dam, everything. Cole took it as James's eyes found his. Protect her, the dying man said, like I never could. The debt, always the debt. I will, Cole promised as James Wilson died for the second time in his life. Dawn broke over the Harrington ranch as Blackwood's convoy approached. 5 vehicles, at least a dozen men. Cole watched through the scope of his rifle, Sarah beside him on the roof with the Remington. You sure about those charges? She asked, voice steady despite everything. Set just like your father taught me. Cole adjusted his aim. When they hit the bridge, we'll know. The lead SUV rolled onto the small wooden bridge crossing the creek. Cole pressed the detonator. The explosion sent the vehicle cartwheeling into the air, crashing down in flames. The remaining vehicles scattered, men pouring out with weapons drawn. Now we fight, Cole said, squeezing the trigger. The first shot found a man in an expensive suit, not Blackwood, but close. The second dropped a gunman aiming at the porch. Sarah's shotgun roared beside him, the blast catching another who tried to flank the house. They're in the barn, she called, spotting movement. Cole swung his rifle, catching a muzzle flash an instant before the barn erupted in flames. The gasoline drums he'd placed there igniting in a controlled inferno. Through the smoke and chaos, a familiar figure emerged. Vincent Blackwood, pistol in hand, moving toward the house with single-minded fury. He's mine, Cole said, slinging the rifle and drawing the Colt. Stay here. He dropped from the roof to the porch below, rolling to absorb the impact. 15 years older than Kuwait, but the training remained. The muscle memory, the killer instinct. Blackwood fired twice, bullets splintering the wood beside Cole's head. The banker's third shot caught Cole's arm, spinning him but not stopping his advance. They collided like thunderclouds, weapons knocked aside as they grappled in the dirt. I should have killed you in Kuwait, Blackwood snarled, delivering a blow to Cole's wounded arm. Like I did the others. You're not killing anyone else, Cole replied, head-butting Blackwood with enough force to crack cartilage. Blackwood was younger, heavier, but Cole had fought for his life in places where rules didn't exist. His thumb found Blackwood's eye, pressing deep. His knee drove into the man's groin. Blackwood howled, struggling to break free. "You can't stop progress, Harrington." Blackwood spat through bloody teeth. "This valley, these people, they're nothing. The dam is everything." Cole's hand closed around a rock. "This land is everything," he corrected, bringing the stone down. Sheriff Thompson arrived with state police an hour later. The flash drive contained everything. War crimes from Kuwait, bribes to state officials, falsified environmental reports, threats against landowners. Enough to bury Blackwood and his dam project forever. "The governor's office is already calling," Thompson said as medics loaded the surviving gunmen into ambulances. "Turns out they never approved this project." Blackwood forged the documents. Blackwood himself sat handcuffed in a patrol car, face swollen beyond recognition, his empire crumbling with each new revelation. The ranchers held captive in the mine had been released, reunited with their families. Already, talk of a community association to protect the valley from future threats had begun, old enemies finding common ground in survival. Cole stood on his porch, arm bandaged, watching Sarah speak with a female officer. Her face was different now, stronger, the haunted look fading with each passing hour. "What will she do now?" Thompson asked, joining him. "Whatever she wants," Cole replied. "It's her life." "And you? Still planning to drink yourself to death in this place?" Cole watched as Sarah finished her statement and turned toward the house, toward him. The morning light caught her face, illuminating something that might have been hope. "I made a promise," he said simply. Thompson nodded, understanding. "Some debts are worth paying." 6 months later, the valley remained unchanged. No dam, no flooding, just Montana as it had been for generations. The Wilson Ranch, adjacent to Cole's property, had new fencing and a fresh coat of paint on the barn. The community had rallied around them both. Old ranchers who'd once viewed Cole with suspicion now nodded respectfully when they passed. Their wives brought food when Sarah's pregnancy progressed, offering advice and acceptance instead of judgment. The child of violence would be welcomed into a community healed by truth. Cole stood on the ridge, overlooking both properties, the Winchester resting comfortably in his arms. Not for protection anymore, but companionship. An old friend from different times. Sarah's voice called from below. She stood on her porch, one hand resting on the swell of her belly, the other waving him home for dinner. Home. A word he hadn't used since Kuwait, since the fire that took his family. A debt he couldn't repay, no matter how many lives he saved. But as he descended the ridge toward her, Cole Harrington felt the weight shift slightly. Not gone. Never gone. But balanced now by something else. Something that might, given enough time, be called peace. Some debts could never be repaid, but some were worth carrying, if it meant you didn't walk alone. If this story stirred something in you, remember that the strongest men aren't measured by the battles they've won, but by the people they choose to protect. In a world where it's easier to burn bridges than build them, be the man who stands his ground for what matters. Hit like and subscribe for more stories of men who understand that true strength isn't about domination, but protection.